So just not to lose focus, what Eric is talking about here, because he's making a good point, and it's we need something like this, absolutely, component selection or not. But someone was talking about, reminded me of what I was doing. Oh yeah, Hyper Super Duper was talking about. He would populate this scene with different nulls using power gons or something like that. Which is pretty cool if you have it. It's just one object. But the problem I was running into, and what made me think of that, was I was doing a lot of animation with Alembic. So I was bringing stuff in from Maya, and in this case, I don't have any bones that I couldn't select the bone of the head, which what I would normally do if I was setting stuff up. Right, so I got this animation going like this, and then these going across there. So, at every point in the animation, you might want to stop, and, maybe there's a window there with a light coming through, or some shadows, or maybe you got a, a prop on his hand or something. And to a certain degree, yeah, if you shift A around the character, you're centering around the character, but it doesn't help get around something like the head. I would find that to be really not ideal. It would be asking for a solution, and I couldn't think of one. I mean, move the light over there or whatever. So what I would do is just add a null to the scene. That was my kind of solution to the problem. Was I would add the null and put the null in there like that, and then I would shift A on the null, zoom in, and then I could get around that particular thing. And it's, it's probably your basic definition of workaround. And there my auto key is on, so at any rate, let me just get rid of that there. So, alright, so that's that. I mean, but still, one thing that it doesn't do that I wish it would do is, this is another thing we're talking about, is moving that thing, always having the null where you want it in the scene. Alright, so, I mean, always having the keyframe right there when you're in the middle of an animation. That can be annoying too, so that's just another thing. But anyway, so you got the null in there, and you can move that around. Actually, it might even be sort of advantageous to have the animation on that null, so I'll leave that auto key on for this. So over here, maybe I want to see the head, so there I am there. Maybe back over here, I want to see something else, so let's go like maybe down to the feet, and then shift A there, and now I'm down looking at the feet. And then this part of the animation, I want to look over there, so I'm looking at that now. It still doesn't zoom in like I would like it to. For example, if I'm in Modeler and I select a face and shift A, I'm right there. That's how I like it to work. It doesn't really work that way in layout. So back to layout. Even if I select a light, or let's say the camera. Camera's a better example. Like I was showing in that other video. Shift A, bam, I'm right there. Right? However, if I select the null and then shift A, it puts it still more or less in the center of the screen, and it does the same thing with the character. It just kind of puts it right there. Then you got to zoom in. At first I thought it wasn't working. When I was first fired up 2015, I was kind of getting my feet wet in it again, and I was, what the hell? And I realized it's doing it, but it just doesn't zoom in at the same time. So if I select the null, shift A, it's kind of like, well, is this working? Anyway, and it is working, but it's not totally the same as like the camera, like I was showing in the last video. Those two things I would like to see fixed. Well, one, some kind of way. Well, obviously, we're not going to get geometry selection in Lightwave for a while, I guess, but that's the only thing I could think of, was just using the null. So that's the workaround I found. Not that that really answers Eric's question. We really need this as a feature somehow. There's got to be some kind of way to focus on something when we don't have anything to focus on, like a mesh, a big mesh, or an Alembic character.